From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's voice briefing. It's Friday, March 15th, 2024. From reporter Teresa Baldus.
Could you read the verdict, please?
Count 1, involuntary manslaughter as to Madison Baldwin, guilty of involuntary manslaughter as to Madison Baldwin. Count 2, involuntary manslaughter as to Tate Myre, guilty of involuntary manslaughter as to Tate Myre. Count 3, involuntary manslaughter as to Hannah St. Juliana, guilty of involuntary manslaughter as to Hannah St. Juliana. Count 4, involuntary manslaughter as to Justin Shilling, guilty of involuntary manslaughter as to Justin Shilling.
James Crumbley was convicted of involuntary manslaughter Thursday. Testimony and closing arguments wrapped up Wednesday afternoon, and jurors deliberated about 12 hours, announcing its verdict at about 7:20 p.m. Thursday. Crumbley and his wife Jennifer, whose teenage son murdered 4 students and injured 7 other people at Oxford High School on November 30th, 2021, are the first parents in America to be held criminally accountable for a child's school shooting. Their son carried out his rampage using a gun his father had bought him as an early Christmas present 4 days earlier. Though the defense maintained the gun was not really a gift and was meant only to be used at the shooting range with his father. Prosecutors argued that the father was grossly negligent in ignoring his son's mental health struggles, buying him a gun instead of getting him therapy, failing to safely secure the weapon, and failing to tell school officials about the gun when he and his wife were summoned over a violent drawing their son had made on the morning before the shooting. That drawing included a gun and the words, quote, "The thoughts won't stop. Help me," end quote. Jennifer Crumbley was convicted of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter last month and faces up to 15 years in prison when she's sentenced April 9th. Their son, Ethan Crumbley, pleaded guilty to all his crimes and is serving life in prison without the possibility of parole. For more on this story, you can search for Teresa Baldus's article, James Crumbley Convicted of Involuntary Manslaughter for Son's School Shooting, on Freep.com.
I'm Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. It's only a matter of time before Travis Sheets will be able to explain where his family-run and owned company has added convenience stores and gas stations in Michigan by holding up his hand and pointing. For now, the 53-year-old executive is trying to get the first one built in Romulus. The state's first Sheets is scheduled to open in September. The president and CEO is learning about the state's nuances. Last month, Sheets boarded the corporate jet to meet with the Free Press in Detroit to explain why the company is betting on a big Michigan expansion. Some communities, however, are not too keen on it. Sheets is unfazed and undeterred. He plans to open 50 to 60 stores in Metro Detroit and more after that throughout the state. It already employs more than 25,000 at 722 stores in a half dozen states. With each visit to Michigan, Travis Sheets has learned more about the state. He now knows how to make a Michigan left and a Detroit-style pizza, which he said he recently tried making at home in Pennsylvania after eating one at Buddy's. His, he said, as if he were surprised, turned out pretty good. Just don't expect the Penn State graduate and recent grad parent to go blue or green.
I'm Andrew Burkle with the Free Press Sports Department. And guys, it's survive and advance season in the college basketball world. And that is exactly what Michigan State's men's team did on Thursday. It hasn't been the season anyone thought it would be for Tom Izzo's squad. The Spartans were a top 5 team in the country entering this year. But before Thursday's game, they found themselves right at the edge of the NCAA tournament bubble after losing 4 of their final 5 games. Even still, the advanced rankings, the Net and Bartorvik and KenPom rankings, and I swear I'm not making these names up, love Michigan State because of the tough schedule they've played. But still, that isn't everything, and wins are wins. So if Michigan State wanted to make Selection Sunday this weekend a lot less stressful, Thursday's game against Minnesota was key. As the Spartans have done a lot this year, they started off very slow, going down 7-0 to start the game, but they kept fighting back. And after some tough locker room conversations, shall we say, the Spartans figured some things out and ended up closing really strong for a 77-67 victory. With the win, the Spartans have earned themselves a chance to redeem a loss earlier this month to Purdue and superstar big man Zach Edey. The Spartans put up a good fight a few weeks back against Purdue, losing 80-74 despite Edey scoring 32 points. And this time, they'll get them on a neutral court. The festivities will kick off early Friday afternoon with a noon Eastern tip-off time from Minneapolis. And with the Spartans now playing without a lot of the holy crap we might miss the tournament pressure, we'll see if they can pull off the upset and get another bump in their status before the NCAA tournament next week.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend, and you'll hear more from us Monday.